So how we can select and manipulate DOM elements? So there are several JavaScript syntaxes. So first one, you can use selectors. So selectors are there to get the element. So basically, if you have a web page rendered on a browser, it will have a document, right? So if you want to modify an element of a document, for example, if you say, if I want to modify this, where I can say, if I want to modify this div, which has a data special with this value, right? So each and every element in HTML will have a attribute. So this data special, ID, class, all those things are called as attributes, and this div is known as element. Okay. So and each element will have an attribute and a value. So value will be the inside part of the element. Okay. So if I want, I can select by get an element by ID or by class name, or I can use a query selector or query selector all. So these are the basic 4 selectors that can I use to get an element from a document. So if I this piece of code, no, so let element is equal to document dot query selector highlights dot highlight. So okay, fine. So what this will do is it will get an element which is having a class highlight. So if you have a document with an element having an attribute class which is mentioned as highlight, then it will be taken by this, then that value of the value of the string will be assigned to this element. I will give a live example here. So I'm having this auth management, so login. So we are having a login page rendered on our browser, right? So I will tell how things works with this document. So I'm having this login page rendered on this browser, and I'm having that particular login page document here. So which is rendered on the body of this doc type HTML. So I'm going to select. I need, for example, I need this login button element. So it is having a class, multiple class elements, and it having a type submit. So if I need this element assigned to a variable, right? So then what I will do is just go there and I will write a function. I will let element is equal to document dot query selector. Okay. So I'm putting query selector. So query selector will do select a particular the first element also. I will say, so if you have multiple elements having, so if a document has multiple elements having type submit, means what query selector will do is will take the first element from this document, whereas query selector all will take all the elements in the document and assign it to the variable. Okay. So I will show. So here I will do data. So my data type is type right, and its value will be given by commit. So my syntax is correct or not? Console.log. If I console this, I will get the element. So the element entire DOM. So the entire element will be assigned to this element. So right, if I control this, I might get, I might not. So here you can see that, right? So here it is in the console of your browser. It is printed that it is basically. Oh, sorry. So what's my screen? So my console is shown that. So I have taken the particular element, right? So I have using the attribute value submit. So I have only selected. So if I put query selector all means, then it will fetch all the elements with the attribute value. Save this code before I have to. Oh, sorry. So it will fetch all the elements. So it what is the difference between these two? So there you will get only one element, but you will here you are getting an array of elements. So here you are getting, but still its array length is one. But what query selector all will does is it will take all the elements from the document and it will push it into a array. So array, you know the basics of array, right? So array will have a multiple elements inside it. So here you can see query selector all will select all the elements and put it into an array, and you can fetch from this element. So if I need only this, so also it will query selector will does get all the properties of that element. You can came to know. So how I can fetch this? So if I want to, I will tell. So here you are having some node names, last child, all those things, right? So last child is text. So if now I got the button, right? So now I got the button. So now I want to modify this login into logout kind of thing. So if I want to modify this button's text login from logout kind of thing, we can how we can do with that JS. I will explain step by